There's another world out there.
I know there is.
Who are you?
It's you. You're a gunslinger, right?
There are no gunslingers. Not anymore.
Why does the man in black want to destroy the tower?
The tower protects both our worlds. If it falls, hell will be unleashed.
He's like the devil, isn't he?
No, he's worse.
How's it going, everybody? Welcome to today's review and episode of Cinemaholics. It's a special one. We've had the most people on here that we've ever had before, 4 in total. So to start us off talking about The Dark Tower, I'm Ryan. I'm a Cinemaholic.
I'm Bella. I'm a Cinemaholic.
I'm Spencer. I'm a Cinemaholic.
And our guest Cinemaholic today is Brent.
Hey, how you guys doing?
So
Good.
Brent's been a longtime viewer, and he's been the most active, or one of the most active on the channel. And it's been a while, but we finally got him on an episode, so we're excited. We've worked with him and known him for a long time. So, like I said, we are going over The Dark Tower today, which is the newest release of the Stephen King novels. This is 10 books crammed into like an 88-minute movie. Directed by Nikolai Arcel or something like that. We'll touch on him later. Starring Idris Elba, Matthew McConaughey, and Tom Taylor. And to give you sufficient synopsis, I do have to read this from the Internet Movie Database because I don't remember off the top of my head what this movie's about. It says, the last gunslinger, Roland, has been locked in an eternal battle with Walter, also known as the Man in Black, determined to prevent him from toppling the Dark Tower, which holds the universe together. With the fate of the worlds at stake, good and evil will collide in the ultimate battle as Roland can defend the tower from the Man in Black. Sounds more epic on that page. Brent, you want to start us off? What did you think of the Dark Tower?
Simple way to put it, I thought it was all right. Nothing spectacular, pretty much forgettable. It's one of those movies that when I walked out, I swear Tommy Lee Jones and Will Smith are waiting there just to give me the memory wipe and that I couldn't remember the movie. I could remember specifics. Idris Elba was awesome. Matthew McConaughey was Matthew McConaughey. I don't know how to put it. The visuals are all right. It was interesting to look at. It felt like nothing extraordinary happened in the movie. It was just kind of the run-of-the-mill action adventure movie with science fiction elements that just didn't stretch 2 ways that I think they could have.
Now, you specifically wanted to review this one with us. Were you looking forward to this one? Have you read the books? What made you so excited for this one?
I've never read the books. Everyone's talked about the books. I was debating before this review or just before seeing the movie to actually read the books. And I chose not to because I thought, you know what, why don't I go in as an average moviegoer and just see how I felt about it without the knowledge of the Dark Towers. And obviously I could tell right off the bat that I was missing so much from it. You guys would probably have more of an idea than I would on that. The trailer looked interesting. I mean, I looked at the trailer and I'm like, hey, this looks kind of cool. It could be interesting. But so that's why I was kind of ecstatic to actually review it because it's like, hey, it looked good. It looked more promising than it delivered. We'll put it that way.
I'll tell you, if there was an Oscar for good trailers for a bad movie, the people who did the Dark Tower trailer should get an Oscar. I was kind of up in the air about the trailer, but after seeing the movie personally, I was like, bravo, you guys did good putting a trailer together for this. What did you think, Spencer?
I did not like it, really by any stretch, which is disappointing. I feel like if I had not known that this was a book series by Stephen King. Like if I just walked in not knowing what the Dark Tower was, having no previous knowledge, and you told me right after that this was a Stephen King story, I wouldn't have believed you, because the writing in this movie is so bad. Like the script in this movie really didn't make much sense to me. And granted, I'm not familiar with the source material like at all. And I feel like it doesn't even pass the test of helping you understand the source material, for being somebody who hasn't read the book, which being an 88-minute movie, it probably really couldn't do it, especially trying to cover those 10 different books. But the only thing I really liked about this movie was Idris Elba. And I feel like he's so good in this role, and he's so charismatic that I wish that the movie surrounding him was better. But like Matthew McConaughey in this movie is absolutely ridiculous. I was talking to these guys earlier. It's like he looks like the type of like Vegas magician you'd see performing illegally on the strip. Like his costume looked so bad, and his haircut looks dumb. And like there's this part like where the kid's parents come into their apartment and they see him wearing an apron. He's like cooking chicken. He's like, they don't have chicken where I come from. And it's just like, what is going on right now? And there's so many scenes in this that just make utterly no sense to me. And it's oddly edited. The action isn't all that interesting at all. And I just really did not like this movie. We'll move more into spoilers in a second, but Bella, what did you think of it?
I didn't like it at all. It was so confusing. I couldn't know. I don't know what the main character, who's the main character. I didn't understand the plot. I don't know what the Dark Tower was there for. Like, it didn't only show like for 1 minute or something. It was just a mess. It wasn't for me. I got out of the theater like, what did I just watch? I don't know. I didn't like it at all. What did you think?
I'm the same. And I can't even like really vocalize, because it, like you said, who was the main character? They really wanted it to be the kid.
Yeah.
But they knew that they had to have like a certain amount of screen time of their bankable actors. And so it was just this weird mess. And the acting was all subpar. Idris Elba was the best part, but what he had to work off of, I think that's my biggest thing, is that the script was so uneven that even the editing made it even worse. But even the performances were, because they didn't have anything to work off of. And I wonder why this even got like greenlit.
I will say though, go ahead, Brent.
No, I was just going to add, how many of you guys actually know this was being worked on for years?
Yeah,
I don't even.
It was originally going to be directed by Ron Howard, and like watching this movie and thinking that this could have been like this big epic movie by a director who honestly knew what he was doing, and like the studio could trust, makes this so depressing, because I see inklings of a good movie and an interesting premise within this movie. And I do think Idris Elba, with what he does, like with what he has to work with, his performance is almost miraculous, like how good it is, because he makes ridiculous stuff look so much cooler than it actually is. So,
well, I heard maybe
it's like the movie didn't deserve. You guys off?
No, you're good. What were you saying?
Oh, I was just gonna say it's almost like the movie didn't deserve to have Idris Elba in it, or let alone Matthew McConaughey. But
yeah, I agree 100%. I heard, maybe there's a series being worked on right now as well. And I originally heard that
that's correct.
Idris Elba was going to be in the series, but I don't think this is going to make any money. So I wonder if they're going to try and cut ties and recast everything, or if they're just separating the two, or if they're going to continue, because he is the most entertaining part. And so it would make sense to keep him. But have you guys heard anything about any of that?
No.
I honestly think this would work better as a TV series, just because they'd have a lot more time to work with the plot, even if it's just like something like Thrones or Westworld, something that just has 10 hours to tell this plot. We could have had so much, more, because like 20 minutes in this movie, I didn't even know what the plot was, and we're a fourth of the way through the movie. It's just like, oh, okay, well, tell me what's going. And like they expect you to know so much off of like this expository text they have at the beginning of the movie. It says like the mind of a child can crush the Dark Tower, and it's like, how? Like, why? What does a child's mind have to do, or the link between this and the Dark Tower? Like, why is that a thing? And there's just so many questions like that they don't answer. Like the fact that Roland's isn't affected by the Man in Black, like his magic. And he makes a point of saying like 3 times in the movie. They never explain why his magic doesn't affect him. You don't have a clear understanding of his powers at any point. You know, he can like tell people not to breathe or not to talk, and it's just baffling. I feel like I paid attention, but I didn't understand a lot of what was going on.
Right. So, that's my biggest thing is that
I think that's a good way to put it.
I consider myself a smart guy. I mean, and I couldn't understand it. So maybe I'm just talking myself up too much, but let's go a little bit into spoilers and just kind of summarize if there's any particular points that you want to address on again or go further into. Brent, we'll go the same order and kind of go spoilers, and then we'll go into scores.
All right, sounds good. I think one of the interesting parts you brought up was Matthew McConaughey being like this streetwise or like this bad illegal street magician. And one dialogue that he threw out that I'm like, was it supposed to be funny, or what was supposed to be? I don't know. Like the line where he's starting to go through to find out that this kid knows so much about him, and then he goes like, it looks like I've got myself a stalker. And it's like, are we supposed to be laughing, or is this supposed to be like, I didn't know what to think of it. Like there are moments that I'm like, was that supposed to be funny? Was that supposed to be serious or what? So I had vibes of like thinking of the Mario Brothers movie. This is going to sound bad, but that's the best comparison I can make, because the Mario Brothers movie as well had a very troublesome shooting schedule and everything. And obviously at the end it fell apart. So, and Dark Tower, I think, is the same way. It's like it had a very lengthy shooting schedule. Like it kept getting revamped and everything. Anyway, I'm going off from spoilers, but that was just one point. I will have to admit, one cool part was when Idris Elba was trying to kill all those, what were those creatures again in that village?
Yeah, that was the coolest scene in the movie, where he like shoots the bullet through the. Is that what you're talking about?
Exactly.
I do not kill with my gun. I kill with my heart.
Yeah, but
that was like the coolest part.
Going off of that for me, that when he's like focusing in and he goes like and he hears each sound individually, like randomly. There's like a goat, and it's like, I'm like, what the fuck?
It's Black Phillip.
Black Phillip. Since I'm already talking, I want to bring up my favorite part that I totally even forgot was in the movie. Was at the very end, there's this climactic fighting thing where Matthew McConaughey is fighting, and he's like,
oh, yeah.
I don't even know what the freak is going on, but he literally is just like blocking off these bullets by going like this, and it literally is the most ridiculous thing I've seen this year. And I've watched The Room for the first time this year, and The Book of Henry, so it's pretty freaking ridiculous.
Can you just imagine the conversation with the director? It's like, more hand waving, more intense hand waving. Matthew McConaughey's just like, I'm doing as much intense hand waving as I can. That's probably exactly how it went. So one thing I wanted to ask you guys, did I miss the mom's death scene, or did they just not show it? Because like all of a sudden he walks into the room with Roland, and he sees like this burnt spot on the ground, and then Idris Elba's like, don't look at it, don't shine and look at it. And it's like he's trying to protect the kid from like this trauma. But I was like, did I miss the scene where he killed the mom? Because I guess they just implied it.
Yeah.
Okay. Because I wanted to know what happened there, and like they just never really talked about that. So that's kind of a spoiler. And I think that we talked about this a little bit, but that ending fight is so anticlimactic. Like, it's like 3 minutes long, and it's just like Matthew McConaughey gets hit in the heart. And we could get into the details of that, but I won't go into the details.
Wait, bringing up the mother's death, and then I'll pass it over to you. At the very, very end, like one of the last lines, Idris Elba's talking to the kid, and he's like, you have nothing left here. Maybe you'll want to be a gunslinger with me. And it cuts to the kid, and he's just like, I love that.
Yeah, in a post-apocalyptic wasteland without running water or toilets or any. He's just like, hey, you have the real world where you have a potential and a future that's safe now, but come to this post-apocalyptic wasteland with me that's basically essentially like Mad Max. It's like he's dooming this kid to this horrible life.
And he starts the sentence reminding him that his mom died earlier that day.
You have no friends and your mom dies. There's nothing for you here.
Oh gosh.
Oh no. It was just terrible. There was one scene. I mean, two. There's one. It was like the continuity of it that it was like he threw his shoe like away, and then there was like one scene that he was walking, and then it was a scene of his shoe, and then it cut off to like his feet with both the shoes. It should be implied that he put the shoes on and stuff, but it was just so weird. It didn't work. It was terrible. And there was another one that the girl was tying him up on the chair, and then they cut to another scene. When they came back, it was a guy tying him up, and then when he came back, it was just the girl like walking away from it.
Wow, I did not notice that.
That brings up one more thing. Okay, so this is like Dark Tower might have the most amazing scene of 2017 so far. It's the part where Idris Elba, the kid's in the chair, and he's like shining because all of a sudden you figure out that for some reason, his mind can keep the portal open. They need it open for some reason. And then Idris Elba shoots the handcuff on the kid. And like, that's the only bullet he shoots. The kid goes running through the portal. So the bullet had hit his handcuff, and the entire place just blows up inexplicably for no reason. The entire villain's like laboratory or whatever that place was just explodes. And I was just like, what did he hit? Like, he hit his handcuff. Like, does he have explosive bullets? That part made no sense to me. I was just like, okay, well, it blew up now. So that was strange.
Cue convenient ending.
Yeah. Deus Ex Machina in an explosion form. So let's score this. Brent, why don't you go ahead and score this puppy?
I'm probably going to be the nicest one out of this group. I'm going to give it a 5 out of 10. This movie's average. It's all right. Nothing spectacular. If you want to see it, it's like a $5 Tuesday matinee, or if they even still have cheap theaters around, that or Redbox. So cheapest way possible. I got to ask you guys before continuing on, have any of you read any of the Dark Tower series at all?
No. When I was like 13, there was like a graphic novel adaptation of it that I read, but it's been so long that I don't really remember it.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I was just curious. I didn't know if I was going to be like the only one that hadn't read any of the books, so it looks like I wasn't the only one. So I'm just judging this based on the movie, not necessarily the books. I hear the books are phenomenal, so
yeah, and I hear the same thing. And I really don't want to make it seem like I think that this is like the worst movie of the year. I don't think it's the worst movie of the year. I'd probably give this one a 3.5 out of 10. I think Idris Elba is capable enough of like carrying this movie. And there's some like that one action sequence that Brent brought up. I had fun in that scene, and I really did like the whole like he was able to hear all this stuff. Like that was really cool to me. So there was like inklings of like what seemed like it was a great premise, but I feel like that short runtime, they didn't have enough time to expand enough on this movie. So I think it's a mess, but I don't think it's like the worst thing I've seen so far this year.
Yeah, mine would be 3.5 out of 10 too. That's what I thought, because I didn't like it. I just thought it was weird, and no, it didn't work for me. But I thought Idris Elba was good too. Like, he kind of saved the movie. So
Saved the movie.
saved.
I'm going the lowest. Then I'm going 3. So far, this movie is going to win the Razzie for worst editing. Like, this thing was a mess, and everyone has been bringing up the runtime, and I don't want to bring up the runtime just because personally for me 88 minutes was too long. Even a longer runtime with kind of the tone and everything and the script and everything, a longer runtime wouldn't have saved this specific project. It would have saved a different incarnation if they had time to write a better, longer script that engulfed everything. But still, I don't see anything that really could have saved the mess that this thing had gotten itself into. And like you brought up, Brent, I think it could have been the mess of pre-production, production, and post, and it's been a nightmare for this movie to get out. And it kind of seems like at this point they just kind of dumped it in August, and they're cutting their losses, and we'll see where it goes. So
well, I guess that about wraps up our review of The Dark Tower. Anything else to add, Brent?
Nothing much else. Yeah, I don't have anything else to say regarding this movie. I think we've said everything we could about it.
Yeah, I feel like we had a pretty great little discussion there. Hopefully we weren't too hard on it if you enjoyed this movie. If you did, hey man, like, some people can turn off their brain and kind of enjoy a movie, and that's totally okay. I'm more personally kind of harsher on these type of just like bad action movies. They're like my least favorite types of bad movies. But I don't want to make anybody think that The Dark Tower is this horrible thing, because I hear that the books, like Brent, are amazing. So it's too bad that we couldn't get a great movie off such great source material is the main thing. But anyways, guys, you can follow me on Twitter at SpinnyHind, and follow me on Stardust at SpinnyHind as well to see reactions that I have on movies that I've been seeing.
Oh, sorry. And follow me on Twitter, Bela Romano _, and then Stardust is just at Bela Romano.
Awesome. Same thing. Twitter at Rye_Gordon. All of them actually. Twitter, Stardust, and Letterboxd. Definitely download Stardust if you haven't. Follow Spencer first, and then the rest of us. Stardust is awesome. I personally love it, and I've posted like 33 reactions or something in the last 2 weeks. So definitely check that out and subscribe to us, because we're having tons of awesome things. If you want to be a part of one of these reviews like Brent, shoot us an email. Brent, where can they follow you?
I think the best place to follow me or check more of my reviews out is you can go to moviepro08.blogspot.com. I'm a little more old-fashioned that way, so.
Hey man, writing reviews is dope. I think that's awesome. Like, there needs to be more like, when you're able to type it out, it's a lot easier to think about stuff. Like, when we're reviewing it here on the spot, it's a lot more difficult. So that's awesome. So yeah, guys, check out Brent's work. Check out his stuff. He's an avid movie watcher as well, avid commenter on our channel. And yeah, we're going to have him back on for a couple more movies this year. I know he expressed interest in some other ones. So yeah, that about wraps it up. So until next time, guys.
Bye.